For those who live with mental illness, it can be a constant struggle against the stigma surrounding it.
In fact, some may even try to hide it because of fear of how people may treat them. Now, in part 3 of 47 ABC's Julian Sador's series, Breaking the Stigma, that is the focus. He joins us live now in studio with more. Julian, how tough is it for people with mental illness to re-enter society after treatment?
Lanita, Emily, from what I've heard, it's very hard. The sad truth is we're not even 100 years removed from where people with mental illness were locked away in mental hospitals and lobotomized, where they would sever connections to your brain. Now, we don't lobotomize people with mental illness anymore, but the way society views it is still pretty much the same, where people often view people with mental illness as crazy and view them as unfit to be in society. Although treatment for mental illness has come a long way, the way society views it still has a way to go.
You're crazy, I think. First words out of their mouth, you're crazy. I don't believe you. You don't have that.
Media contributes to those views or stigma.
At the box office, the thriller Split.
Movies about killers with mental illness, suffers from a profound mental illness, or even news stories covering crimes where mental illness is associated.
Do you think people are scared of people with mental illness?
Yes.
Why?
Because of how it was portrayed sometimes out there, that they don't know if the person will flip on you, go after you, go crazy on you.
Is that justified? Do you think people with mental illness are?
No, I don't think so. I think they're more calmer, but they're more scared. The person that has a mental illness is more scared of anything, is scared of you more than anything.
In truth, according to Christy Garlitz, the clinical director for Lower Shore Clinic, there's no correlation between mental illness and violence.
The stigma of somebody being dangerous just because they have a mental illness is totally wrong.
That stigma, though, can create problems for those with mental illness trying to live regular lives within society. As 57-year-old Vivian Miller explains, the fear of being mistreated also can make living a regular life a daunting task. Vivian explains many people lack understanding about mental illness and sometimes lash out in frustration.
And they shouldn't do that to some people, because some people would just, you know, they might end up really harming themselves just because of that, you know? Because when people have mental disabilities, you feel vulnerable, you feel not normal, you're outcast, and then when other people comes along to you like that, you know, some people, they could push them over the edge.
The biggest challenge, though, may come for those like 27-year-old Brittany Starnes, who is bipolar, but also has schizophrenia, a psychotic disorder.
They just call you crazy, and they think that you can't be a productive member of society, and they think that you can never get a job and you can never put anything into society.
As Dimitri Kavathis, CEO of Go-Getters in Lower Shore, explains, society has the toughest time accepting and understanding those with psychotic disorders.
So yeah, these are people with thought disorders that, you know, hear voices or maybe have visual hallucinations, and they have continued to be demonized. It's not accepted, and people don't understand it still, and it's by far the hardest mental illness to have people accept.
For Brittany, she's put in the hard work with help from Go-Getters in Lower Shore Clinic and beat the odds. Her medicine keeps the voices and hallucinations away. Her drive to better herself allows her to live in a Go-Getters home with a roommate and to have a job where she says she'll get more hours soon.
Young lady with her head covered up in a bed, won't come out, won't talk to you, won't have anything to do with you. Give her a year or so and she's getting a job. How did it happen? She did a lot of work.
For Vivian, too, she is also working. With help from the vocational program at Go-Getters in Lower Shore Clinic, she now works in Ocean City, managing kitchen staff.
They're not judgmental, and yeah, it's like a family there.
The guy told me the kitchen that she was working in wouldn't function unless she was there. And I don't know too many people who can actually say that their employer says that about them.
For Dave, who made it through the program getting control of his bipolar disorder, depression, and alcoholism, he now works for Go-Getters in Lower Shore Clinic and lives in a Go-Getters townhouse with a roommate. Not only that, he now has rekindled his relationship with his daughter and is involved with his grandkids.
They're just starting to talk. They call me Pop-Up and sit down and do stuff with them, and it feels very good knowing that that they trust me and I can do things for them now. And if I was drinking, I wouldn't be able to do any of it.
How does it make you feel when you hold your grandchildren?
Oh, it feels so good.
And for Charles, who through treatment learned to live with his bipolar schizoaffective disorder and depression, he helps as an ambassador to the Go-Getters Adult Day program.
By the grace of God, I'm here, man. And by the grace of God. But I wouldn't change nothing in my life at all. Nothing. Because it made me into the person I am today. I got my joy back. I got my right mind back. I got my integrity. I got all this good stuff going for me.
And I can tell you, at least in the cases of Charles, Vivian, Dave, and Brittany, they are truly living testaments to what can happen if you buy into the treatment, take your medication, and work hard. So what can you do at home to pay it forward? Well, as Charles told me, if you see someone struggling, tell them, hey, things are going to get better. Shake their hand or just give them a friendly smile. It means a lot. You never know what a person's going through or how you can change their day by just speaking to them and being nice to them. Now, in our fourth and final part of the series tomorrow, we'll take a look at what needs to be done so this type of treatment can continue and why in Maryland all eyes are focused on Annapolis for a very important measure. Emily and Lanita, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Julian. Again, 47 ABC's Julian Sador reporting live in studio tonight.
And tomorrow in part 4 of Breaking the Stigma, as you heard, we'll learn about why so many people who need mental health treatment are still on waiting lists.